Hi, I'm Sam from Wolf and Wing, and this is a little video about my experience of nature as a healer. My background is in a few things kind of intertwined: arts, education, and nature. And I went from doing an art degree, I've got a degree in illustration, to working in a library, to thinking, I really enjoy working with people and I feel like I've got a lot to share. I'm going to go and try and be a secondary school art teacher. It was a disaster. But I realise now that the disaster was not that I'm a bad teacher. It's that schools are not my natural habitat. So after that, I felt really lost and was lucky enough to go and stay with some friends in Cornwall who helped me kind of find my feet again. And I had this like light bulb moment. I remember thinking, but this is my passion. Sharing art with people has been my purpose, and now I feel really lost. So I kind of was thinking, what else do I love? And the Eden Project down in Cornwall is this amazing environmental education centre, and I was like, I love that. I love that thing, the thing that they're doing there. I love that. So I found that environmental education was a whole career path that I had never really heard of before, and I applied for every job that I could find, and I was offered a position working for Frog Life, who are an amphibian and reptile conservation charity. And it was a really challenging and interesting role. It was working with young offenders and young people at risk of exclusion or offending. And it was so interesting because I had the kids that were really struggling when I was in the classroom with them. It was the kids who, when I was an art teacher, would have been finding that classroom environment really, really hard. They were the kids that I was working with, but we were outside. And not every young person that I worked with, had an amazing time or clicked with what we were doing, but some of them did. And there are so many layers to I think of like why that was. I think being outside, literally being outside of the classroom, I think is really important. Being outdoors has this kind of magic to it that is hard to put into words. Being outdoors and working alongside another person is medicine. There is so much medicine in that. And I would just be blown away by the conversations that I would have, particularly with like the young offenders, where if you had them in a room and tried to interview them and chat to them as an adult to them about their life, or what they needed or how things were going, it would have just been rubbish and you would just not have got an answer. But to work alongside someone digging a pond or whatever it was you might be doing, and to chat as you worked, something else happened. I think the fact that we weren't looking at each other necessarily, I mean, we might have made eye contact and stuff, but we weren't like sitting, we were kind of side by side. That was an important part of it. And what I really felt as well was the ways that opportunities to make something, to make a practical physical change and a positive difference, those opportunities are missing so much from schools and so much from our experiences in everyday life. There is nothing as satisfying as creating a pond. Maybe there are some similar other things, but that sense of achievement is unbelievable. You work so hard, and I'm not sure if I could even physically do that right now. It's tough. But to make something beautiful that creatures and plants are really going to benefit from is magic. And what's interesting for me, what I loved about that work, was this kind of cycle that would happen of the people that we were working with were giving something back to their environment. Maybe it was a pond, maybe they were planting something, or planting a tree, doing some tree management. I mean, all of these things need looking after as well as creating. And as they did that, as they put their energy and love into their environment in that way, they got something back from it, a kind of medicine, whether it was the fresh air, the physical exertion and the physical satisfaction. It was, exertion with a purpose. That they might meet a frog or a newt or a grass snake, or see or smell a beautiful plant. This kind of cycle of benefit for each other was just so beautiful. And it's one of the things that's just like a driving force for me still, is the ways in which, because I guess what happens as well is we start to heal that split. We start to heal this idea that there are humans and there are the rest of nature, and that those things are separate things. We are a part of nature, and I think that split is one of the things that hurts us, and one of the things that hurts nature too. So when we have these moments of connection and of this circle of being able to give back and receive, something shifts, and it's really beautiful. And yeah, it's a kind of underpinning love of mine, and it's something that's kind of woven into all of my work. This connection, this dialogue, this sharing that we can have with the rest of nature, and how we can benefit and the rest of nature can benefit too, it's one of the founding principles of Wolf and Wing, and I'm so excited about delving more and more into that, and kind of weaving together my background in education and environmental education, and some of the more witchy, magical things that I'm discovering more recently, and the kind of spiritual, personal growth, transformation stuff too. And as I weave all of these things together, and Wolf and Wing continues to develop and take shape, is what I have to say. So yeah, Wolf and Wing is this portal into a world where we remember that we are a part of nature, we are not separate, and the beauty and magic that flows through a cherry tree flows through us too. And we get to be the medicine for ourselves and for the rest of nature, and nature gets to be our medicine too, in this beautiful cycle.